What about y'all? Let me flip the question to y'all.
Oh shoot!
All right.
Who's going first?
Now this is where you send me the intro to your favorite podcast, the music,
Yeah.
and then we just play it here, and then it transitions into your episode.
You guys get a 2-for-1. The rest of the podcast is just audio.
Hey.
Everyone, turn off your webcams.
Turn your webcam.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the High Morale Podcast. I am your host for today, Jordan, and as usual, I got with me Michael.
Hey, what's up? Headphones Michael over here.
Classic. We got returning with us today for a second episode, Lala.
Yo, you got AirPods Arvin over here? Nah, I'm just kidding. You got Lala over here. What's up? What's up?
But he's not why we're here. The reason we're here is we are joined today with the ever so dashing Aidan Lising. What's up?
Hey, Aidan, yellow shirt, listening over here.
You guys caught him off guard with the describing words.
The descriptions. It's okay.
Yeah, I got caught off guard, but I think I managed to dodge that bullet.
Yes,
Improv,
perfectly.
yo, the improv on point. Let's go.
Yes, and of course.
That's good.
All right, Jordan. What's the OBJ? What's the OBJ today?
All right, our OBJ for today is we got a special guest, so we're gonna talk a lot about our friend over here, Aidan. First, the first thing I wanted to get into right off the bat, you got your own podcast.
Ooh,
Your favorite movie. Listen to it on Spotify. It's going to be in the link down in the description.
nice.
Of course, I had to
Nice.
shout that out. But yeah, I've listened to the podcast, obviously. I just wanted to know what your thought process was starting up this project of yours.
Well, first of all, I don't want you to think I forgot that you asked me to be on, and, all those weeks
No
ago.
worries.
But, for sure, we're gonna schedule after we record this podcast.
So look out
don't
for
think-
that.
Yeah,
Nice.
they call that in the biz collab, a crossover, or what?
I like that.
Yeah, you're just a little, I just coined that now, so you can take that. The property, high morale.
Oh,
collab. But yeah, it was in, I guess, November of 2020. God, that feels like
Ages ago.
so long ago.
Yeah.
I know.
for real.
But not today on this Thursday. Right? not on this Thursday.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to get more into audio editing. And I have these weekly chats with my friends. We'd watch movies and stuff over Discord. And I kind of wanted to get better at interviewing, because I went to school for journalism. I mean, I don't do that now. I do graphic design now, but
Oh, nice.
I wanted to dip my feet into the whole audio editing and podcasting per se. And I know the it's so saturated. There are so many podcasts out there, but I'm not really expecting people to listen and for this to be the number one most listened to in Canada or whatever. It's just a hobby. Until I get that sweet ad revenue and you're all getting Raycon advertising.
That's what we all want.
Squarespace.
Yes.
And all that aside, it was really a thinly veiled attempt to just catch up with friends again, because
Oh, 100%.
yeah, because as much as you love your friends, it's not really commonplace, at least for me, to message them and be like, hey, do you want to have a phone call for 2-3 hours?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not really something that I guess
It's not meta.
I
Yeah.
would do. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. So why don't I just put that under the guise of podcast and make it really accessible? And what's more accessible than someone's favorite movie? And what people don't see, and the part that really I live for, is the 20 minutes before we actually record any episode, where we're just catching up.
Oh,
Which is
nice.
the best part. And then we get to talk about their favorite movie, and selfishly I get to expand my horizons more, and if someone has a movie that I've already seen, then I get to relive and rewatch that movie and experience it again. And for the most part, I like most of the movies that have been discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that I was a little bit on the fence was Joker, but that's a whole that's a whole discussion we can get into. But yeah, it's really just more to like catch up with friends, because especially these days, it was like God, we need to like connect more than ever, and I'm so thankful that we're able to do so, like over technology and over the phone. It's like you can still catch up with someone even though you haven't seen them physically for like years. Like some of my friends that I've had on the show, like we recounted the last time we saw each other in person, and for most people it's been like over a year, and it blew my mind. I'm like, oh God, but like at the same time I'm so connected and up to date with what they're doing because of social media. So that's what the whole thing. And yeah, like I like movies, so
why not? Right?
Whatever.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. We feel the exact same way, because this is also a thinly veiled guys just to keep talking to each other.
Yeah.
Because before this, I've known Michael, for example, for about 17 years, and we've only just again started talking after a very long hiatus.
Like maybe since 8 years?
Yeah, whatever grade 8 was.
Yeah.
So due to that fact, and then I guess we just decided to start a podcast so we could just
keep talking.
keep talking every week.
I need friends.
No.
But yeah, it's cool that like I totally understand where you're coming from. Like you're not doing this to like for the ad revenue, or just to or for what, like to be number one, or it's like clout, exactly. Like you're just doing this because you enjoy it, and this has been fun. Like I myself never thought I'd do this type of thing, but as it grew, it's just become something that I look forward to every week, and then I get to talk to these guys, or talk to people from my past, bring in a couple people, and just sort of chill and just talk about whatever.
I feel like it's a great way to meet new people and just rekindle old friendships and stuff like that. And in the meantime, you do learn a lot about themselves and a lot about other things, And that's what I like about this podcast and podcasts in general.
And like a lot of people that I've interviewed, like, I always try to just calm them down, because at the end of the day, I know these people, we know each other, and I'm just like, we're just having a conversation. Like, you don't have to worry about, like, you don't have to get all stiff and be like, oh, well, I thought the plot of the premise was
right, swirling their
wine glass. Yeah,
that movie was delightful.
Yes, quite the twirling their mustache.
I love it.
Declare. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. Did you find that like even yourself was a little stiff going, like starting out and then moving on to your later episodes? I believe you're like on episode 20 something.
Oh damn!
Ooh, congrats!
Something like that. Oh, thank you. I always joke that this only goes as long as I have friends, so I'm almost done. So episodes are almost finished. But yeah, like I can't go back and listen to the old episodes sometimes for like two reasons. One, like I've gotten better at getting used to my own voice, but it's still kind of like,
I don't think
shut up.
Like exactly. I don't think we'll ever get used to our own voices, just because I don't know, we're just built to hate our own voices,
Exactly.
That's like, it's gonna be a never-ending problem for real. Like,
yeah,
especially when you're editing, you're like, oh my god, shut up.
Oh my god, when like I edit the episodes, and like I hate it so much when like I can just hear my own breath, like the
it's the worst. That is the worst.
And like I like if I had a camera set up while I was editing, you can just hear me cursing the skies. Like, why are you breathing? Why are you breathing like at all? Like, shut up.
I know.
When the guest does it, it's all fine. But
and then your audio is just like full of gaps where you cut it out.
Oh, God, it's it's just so like from a technical standpoint, I can only listen to like the most recent episode, because I'm like, oh, here's a new trick, or like I think it was around episode 8 or something, or like when I was interviewing Myron Guzman, who went to school with Jordan and I. we were talking about Dead Poet Society, and that was when I discovered that Adobe Audition had presets and a podcast preset where it brought all the levels up.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, so I don't have to adjust the gain on each individual talking point. And it just blew my mind. And I'm just like, now I can't listen to the episodes before because I was like pressing my hands to my ears trying to make sure they were loud enough. But as like, to answer your question, I've gotten a lot more comfortable. But it's like with anything, just repetition and practice, right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
But it's so crazy how it's like you're the only one that's editing, right? That's a lot of work, especially like
it is
hour-long podcasts. Oh
yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
I mean, you guys are insane. Like a video podcast, like you got to manage not only like 4 different audio tracks, but 4 different video tracks. Make sure they're synced.
Oh, that's Jordan's work.
Jordan's
Okay,
crack.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Jordan.
If we're gonna pull back the curtain,
Yeah, please do.
Originally, because I'm the only one with any editing background besides Michael, which was
Very minimal.
like,
Shut up.
very minimal. But so originally, I was gonna do everything. Like I was gonna do the cutting,
Swiss Army Man.
yeah, and the audio editing. But then, luckily enough, these guys were kind enough to offer help, and I didn't expect them to, so that really helped me out. So it's really a team effort. But at the end of the day, they send everything to me to get it polished up. I think Patrick, who's another host on this podcast, was like, everyone else is a chef, but I'm the head chef. I'm the sous chef of the High Morale podcast. So if you ever see any crazy edits or like screen flares or whenever Michael says, put this on screen, that's all me.
That's all Jordan.
That's all me. And they make me do my work,
Yeah.
They give me work to do. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jordan in the future, can you put a rainbow over my head? Ready? And
yeah.
there you go.
Oh, Aidan, all it's gonna say is no. I hope you're ready for
That's
that.
fair. That's fair. I'm honest, same. Honestly.
But yeah, going back to like listening to old podcasts, did you just like go right out the gates, or did you have test episodes? I'm curious.
Right out the gate, pretty much.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? Risky maneuver. Luckily, the first guest that I had was a good friend of mine, Jordan, and
It's Jordan?
Yeah, another Jordan.
Oh.
No, not
Yes.
Jordan Curry from my university program, and luckily, she was a guest who had like the knowledge. Like she had the behind the scenes and like the the trivia. She was like the walking encyclopedia of her movie.
Nice.
And, it was lucky for me because I'm not expecting all the guests to come in with like an encyclopedic knowledge of their movie. I just want to know why they like it and why it matters to them and why it's their favorite. I'm not expecting like an inside the actor's studio. It's just like it could be as simple as like, I saw this movie when I had a hot pocket when I was 8 and it was a good hot pocket, and now like I like this movie, and it's whatever. But yeah, no test episodes. I'm gonna put everything out there.
Nice.
And no matter how raw it sounds, no matter how bad it is.
I respect that. I respect that heavily.
That's sick. Full send.
Thank you.
Right away.
Full send, exactly.
We had test episodes.
How many?
They were super bad.
They were so bad. About 2 or 3-ish.
I think it was 4.
Yeah, something like that. And we also actually, because we've also had to re-record episodes again, pulling back the curtain. Because we have you ever?
We weren't like
Sorry,
super comfortable with some of those episodes. Like
just like
the energy wasn't
the
that good. So yeah.
Have you ever had to re-record or bring
Yes.
back a guest? Yeah.
Bring back a guest more so because they want to talk about a different movie, which is fine. Re-record, it's happened a bunch. Like I used to record on Discord, and then I think that was like the second episode. My friend Luke, and I keep name dropping, but shout out if they're ever listening. Luke and I, we were recording this, like it ended up being like a 2-hour recording, and then
It's long.
I messed up exporting the files,
Mhm.
and I lost it.
Oof.
Oh no.
Yeah. and it all happened while we were just wrapping up the first recording. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just making sure the recording's good, blah blah blah. And then I clicked around and it's like files corrupted, and I'm like, oh.
Ow.
Yikes.
Damn,
And then I'm like, Luke, like I lost the file. I lost the file. I'm
Oh
sorry,
my
dude."
god.
And Luke was gracious enough to re-record that same day, like 15 minutes later. He's just like, let me get my food in me, and then we'll re-record. And we did it again, and thankfully it was
good?
It
Nice.
was good that time.
That's good. That's good. Oh man,
But-
that heart-dropping moment.
Oh my god, like you would not believe. I mean, I'm sure you guys have experienced your fair
Of
share.
course.
Files
Of course, of
corrupting is the worst feeling, yo. Especially if you worked so hard on the thing you're working on, and then just to have it collapse in front of you is so heartbreaking.
What
Yeah.
was the worst? What was the worst story of that happening for this podcast?
Okay.
This podcast.
Oh, for this podcast, I don't know, but for me, I had to edit an episode where someone's audio just kept going out of sync. So every maybe 2 minutes, I would have to resync the audio all the time.
Oh no.
And then the one, like usually it would take me 4 hours to do my side of the editing. This time it took me 9 hours I think from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Because I just wanted to get it over with because it was actually
Yeah.
pissing me off.
Oh my god.
And we also had issues of people like we tell them to record, set up their thing, and then they send it in, and then we listen to the recording, and it's like it's barely audible. Like
Yeah.
anything they're saying, there's like background noise, or it's just very tinny, and we're like, I just send it to Michael. I'm like, can you fix this?
I try to do my best.
Oh my god. I hope that's not today. I mean, you know what? Let me.
Wait, audio check.
Audio check,
all
audio
good.
check.
I
Usually-
think our audio is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, again, oh man, this is just like this is gonna be high morale behind the scenes.
Okay. There we go.
We record the Discord call and our separate audio. So I have two audio programs open and whatever's recording Discord, just so we have like 7 backups. Because I would hate to lose a file or get something messed up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm super like.
No.
Like, oh
That's
shit.
just-
It's
that's
all
just
good.
us.
You're good, you're good,
Just
you're
suck.
good.
Okay.
Another part I wanted to get into was your graphic design.
Yeah. Jordan showed me some of your stuff on Instagram. Damn, you're cracked.
Thank you. Thank you, Lala.
I also want to get into kind of the speed of how you do things, because there are moments, let's say, because you do a lot of sports graphic designs,
Yeah.
right? So when something happens, like let's say a player pops off for 50 points, and then you want to make a graphic for that player, how quick does that process happen?
So let me pull back the curtain on
Go ahead.
my side of the industry. So I do a lot of freelance, but I mainly freelance for this one place called FanDuel. It's like a fantasy sports betting company. And I mainly help out with their social graphics, so like Instagram, on Twitter, or whatever. And usually what happens is it's a lot of prep work. So my bosses or we'll discuss, and we'll be like, who's playing tonight? Milwaukee and Brooklyn, who do we think is going to have a good game? Probably safe bet Kevin Durant or Giannis. So could you prep something for both of them? And this is usually done like, long before the round even starts. Like I'll just have a bank of them ready to go. And if they want to add something like the actual stats, they can. I usually just provide the design itself. But in terms of like doing something the night of, that's something I've been doing a little more recently. I want it to be a little more like up to date and like on the money. What am I saying? Like in sync with the games. I don't want to. I want to do it live essentially.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Do it live.
Do it live.
Can I swear on this? Sorry, can I curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And so what happens is like, let's say for example, Trae Young has been playing out of his mind. I don't want to get. I don't know if the audience is like, cares about sports
It's all
too
good.
much. Okay,
It's all
okay.
good, man.
But let's say like Trae Young is having a really good game, and if I have free time, I'll usually be like, okay, how much time do I have left? Okay, start of the second half. That gives me about an hour or so. I'll try to whip something up, and it's a bit of a challenge. I'll try to give myself that time to do whatever I can. And FanDuel was like, hey, since you're doing these, we'd love to post them. So just build the hours for when you do these. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean,
Ooh.
I'm not complaining. And then so in terms of speed for each piece, it varies. It's a tough question to answer because a design can be so many different things. It could be a photo edit, it could be an original graphic, it could be just a touch up. That's the whole freelancer thing where it's like, you're not paying me to click these buttons, you're paying me for like the knowledge that I've accrued over the years. Accrued, accumulated, accrued. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Accrued over the years to know to press which buttons. Like, you're paying me for my skill set and my background. So
True. Yeah.
For some designers, it might take like snip snap like that, but for others, it could take a little longer. But it just depends on what you're looking for. Then it always comes down to that Western standoff, like, whoosh, what's your budget? No, whoosh, what's your
Oh my god.
That's very true. That's very true. That standoff, I don't know, like, because I've done a lot of freelance video work for people, and then just the yeah, I don't know. You explained it so well. The Mexican standoff.
How much is it gonna cost?
Yeah, you got the widescreen
How much
bars
you
over the
got?
eyes, like
A tumbleweed.
yeah, the tumbleweed. Everyone's closing their windows and it's like, there's a shootout going on.
What's your price?
But yeah, so because in my head, I've tried graphics design for mostly school, so that's the extent of my knowledge with Photoshop and whatever else programs are there. I'm not that familiar with. And in my head, I'm just like, does he just guess who's gonna do good? Because if so, he should just put money into whoever. Put money on these games. 'Cause usually your graphics are pretty on point and they come out pretty quick. But yeah, it makes sense that there's a lot of prep time. You got these assets ready for you to just touch up on or move around whenever something does happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I feel like with, I mean, in my experience recently, some people could argue like, oh, you post these at like 2 a.m. No one's going to see this. I mean, have you seen algorithms these days with like timelines? It doesn't matter when you post something. You're gonna
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, you're going to get something from 3 days ago happening on your timeline now. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. And like, also, who cares? Like, I don't really care that much.
For sure. Yeah, algorithms are so hard to like kind of monitor and try to plan your stuff around. So just honestly, just do it whenever you feel like it. At the end of the day, somebody's gonna see it.
Exactly.
That's true. I mean, I have no idea, but when I just started Instagram, I just started posting and whatever made me happy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a tough game to play. That's why whenever I see like postings for social media manager, I'm just like, no, thank you. I do not want to deal.
Yikes.
I do not want to deal with that. I see enough. I participate enough on the game. Like with sports and sports social media. It's all about those hot takes, like hot. Salacious. This player is gonna be garbage. This player is the best in the world. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and like even on YouTube, right? The game is what, red circle, an arrow pointing, someone doing like, shocked face, and I hate it. It's so gamey. But even in journalism, to kind of bring it around, what you need clicks, right?
Right.
And because journalism is like a dying industry, and you need to pay with clicks, and so you have to write the most salacious headline. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, you won't believe what
the
Jordan
clickbait
said on his
titles.
podcast.
Oh yeah.
Doctors hate him.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. We could get into the whole social media thing and how to play this game and how it kind of affects everything around
It's
us
like
at the moment.
It's so different now, Before it was just about likes, and now it's just like what you said before. It's just a marketplace now.
Yeah.
And what is social media nowadays, right? I think the only true social media out there is probably like Twitter, because I don't think Twitter has changed that much. Everyone still trash talks. Everyone still speaks their mind. But in terms of like maybe Facebook, Instagram, they all changed.
They all have.
And it's because, I guess like, the new generations, with our attention span is just so little. We have to cater to like those 10-second clips and whatever. And even YouTube nowadays, it's just 30-second clips, 2-minute clips. I don't see the 30-minute videos, 20-minute videos showing up on my feed anymore. And that's crazy. And
It's tough though.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
it's okay.
It's gonna be different for all four of us, because I do have a lot of 20-30-minute videos showing up, and it caters to your algorithm or whatever. You're gonna see more of what you want. So like, say for example, and it's happened to me, when I was on a Discord call with my friends and I was streaming my screen, they're like, yo, look up this video about like cat food or whatever.
And
guess what popped up in my YouTube feed the next few days? Exactly.
Mark Zuckerberg's listening.
I know.
Always.
But like, I want to ask you guys this question. Do you
ahead.
think, like, how different would your high school experience be given how much social media has changed?
Like if we were in high school now?
Yeah.
Zero. I have no
Zero?
social media game.
For me, I mean, I have siblings, but they're not too far off from me, like age gap wise. But even just that little gap is enough for me to see the generational difference. Like, I can't imagine growing up like 2 or 3 years earlier, let alone this right now, which would be like, what is it? Like
Thursday.
Thursday. Like 8 years later. Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're right. It's just even a 2-year gap is pretty big. Like, you ever go to school and then you look at like the class behind you and how much of monkeys they are, and the ones in front of you, how much monkeys they are. Like, what do they think of us? Are we the monkeys or are we like okay? Even like, just thinking about it's like, yeah, the previous classes were pretty monkeys. I think we were okay, And
There's no perspective.
And imagine
Exactly,
now
yeah.
high school is getting fueled by social media. That's crazy.
Not only that, it's all remote right now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right now, this could be a class.
Could be a
Like-
class, yeah.
Could be.
Michael could be our teacher.
I could not do this. I could not do remote learning. I see my little cousins are going through it, and I'm like, I mean, they're having a blast because when they're not in class, pop on the Switch and they're playing whatever,
Yeah.
Right.
straight into Rainbow or whatever my little cousin's playing.
Yeah, I did a little bit of remote learning, and it was just the worst.
It's tough, huh?
Yeah, it was tough.
It's hard.
It's hard to pay attention because like everything is right in front of you. The professor could be talking, and then you could be watching something else.
Yeah.
I do that in class, like but like it's better to have a physical presence of a classroom rather than remote learning.
Yeah.
And
Like, you need that separation.
Also, also just the act of like, you have to wake up and like travel, so you don't want to waste your time and be on other things while you're in class. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like with like remote learning and everything, you wake up, you turn on your computer. Oh, Valorant update. Oh wait, let me do this first.
Exactly.
Oh, I need to check my Instagram, and then your class is just off to the side and everything. I don't know. I feel like just the effort of waking up and going to a physical class kind of motivates you even a little bit more to focus.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and credit to the teachers right now that are doing their best to try to keep our attention span, trying to keep younger students engaged, especially. Like we've talked about this slightly before, but I still can't imagine what I have to go through. Where to begin trying to keep 12-year-olds online and their webcams on or whatever they have to do.
Yeah. Like
It must be so hard, yeah.
I don't understand what's so hard about keeping your webcam on though, compared to like going to a physical classroom, you know? What's the difference between going to a classroom and having your webcam on, right?
Well, with your webcam, like you can see all of this. You know what I mean? That's like, this is your personal stuff.
Oh,
and sometimes you don't want that shown, right? Like, you could obviously move to a different room or anything, but your room is where you're most comfortable, and you probably want to do your classes there. It's just having that webcam on is kind of, it feels like it's breaching your privacy. You know what I mean?
And I think some people, they might get a little self-conscious about seeing themselves. So
that too.
I can get why people. I probably would turn my webcam off, to be honest, if I were in remote learning.
Also with that, like, if you're in a physical class, you can tell if somebody's making fun of you. But if you have your webcam on, they could turn theirs off and be like, you know what I mean?
That's true.
That's a different like venue of cyberbullying right there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole new avenue.
I kept my webcam on because I felt bad for like how the teacher was the only one.
That's fair.
That's a good point. Good on you.
Oh yeah. Well, take down that screen behind you.
No.
Expose yourself, sir.
It's not clean.
Who's there?
I just keep like if the screen is just so it's more convenient. I don't want to clean up.
True. That's fair. Aidan, have you ever considered making a video portion of your favorite movie?
Yes, I have, for like a split second. Just because recently I've been like dressing up for for the podcast, because the site that I use, the site called Zencaster, it recently allowed for video functionality. And what I've been doing recently is recording just the audio but keeping the video on just for the flow of conversation. Because it's nice to have FaceTime with people, right?
Yeah,
like, this is very nice.
Totally agree with that.
And me being me, I'm just like, oh, I should be thematic to the movie. So the first time I did that whole dress up thing was with Grease, and it was Zuleika's episode, and I was I dressed up like a greaser, had pomade in my hair, leather jacket, even though it was hot as hell outside, and inside I was just like sweating my balls off. For the content, exactly, that sweet content. And then my friend messaged me and she's like, you should do a video podcast, like, you're going through all this effort, why not just record the video? And I'm like, yeah, but then I have to edit the video, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I can barely edit the audio without like cursing my name. Like, why, Aidan? Why?
Now you have to see your face.
I know.
Right. That Grease episode, good episode, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll take a listen to it.
I'm glad you called out that generation for what it was.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just
give us a TLDR.
You guys seen Grease?
I've seen Grease. Yeah.
Do you remember it fondly?
A little bit, yeah. I watched it like maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's very. It would not fly today.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It was very misogynistic.
Oh, for sure.
There was a lot of bullying.
Very
lot
rapey.
of bullying.
Very rapey.
I was gonna say you used that word, and I'm like,
very
yeah,
rapey.
yeah.
Yeah.
But boys will be boys. So what are you gonna do?
Crazy.
It's stupid.
So bad. Come on.
I think you mentioned it at the top, but was there ever a movie you had to watch for the podcast that you just didn't enjoy? I don't want to. Okay, this is a kind of hard question. I don't want you to call out one of your friends or anything, but
well, actually, now that you mention it, I have it ready. No,
I actually got this tier list of all my episodes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh man,
all our episodes are D tier.
Except this one, S tier.
Yeah,
of course.
S tier.
It's tough because with movies, I genuinely have a good time, or at least I find a good time in most of what I watch. Find something good. I enjoy watching it, even if I'm not super invested in the plot. I'm like, oh, but look at the costume design or the set design.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that, or the cinematography. I got a huge eye for. I guess I mentioned up top, but Joker was one that I was like, I mean,
it's a movie.
It's a movie.
I just like how that movie produced the memes of you get what you fucking deserved.
Exactly.
That's it.
I think the movie might be remembered more for the memes than the movie itself. I mean, that's so many movies today. Memes are so even in the most obscure scenes of the most obscure movies, you can find a meme. But Joker was an example where I'm just I didn't hate it, for the record. I didn't I wasn't scowling the whole time with my webcam off this stupid movie. I hate this so much. It was more just it was a challenge for me because for once I wanted to hear someone's opinion that differed from my own, because I wouldn't be able to contribute too much with I love this, and this. It was more of me just getting to understand their side of it. I think it would be really tough if someone came on and was my favorite movie was the 007 movie Die Another Day, which is a movie that I do not like. It is a terrible movie through and through. And so if someone came on, no, I'm just kidding. And if someone came on and they're like, "Yeah, I want to talk about that movie," I'd be like, "Sure, let's talk about it. I want to hear what you think about it." But it's more for the guest. So I try to make sure they get to express themselves.
When you watch a movie, do you take notes, especially when you're going to talk about it in a podcast, or do you just keep everything in your head?
Sometimes I do. At the beginning, I was very note heavy, writing down blah 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 and this and that. But then I just kind of want to watch it. Kind of want to see what's going on. And recently, I think I did an episode on Like Mike where I just kept notes on my phone. But more often than not, I watched the movie recently. I watched a movie close enough to the actual recording where I can remember most, if not all, of the main things that I want to talk about.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Not a great
classic,
but a good movie.
Joker, you mean? Yeah, classic. When he shoots him in the head, yeah.
All right. Speaking of memes, you're always asking what other people's favorite movie is. What's your favorite movie?
I wanted to ask that. Damn it.
All-time favorite, rank 1, S tier.
Oh,
you can
no
watch
pressure.
Over and over again.
Funny enough, I actually did an episode on it where it was someone else's favorite movie and it coincided with mine. It's Back to the Future. Love that movie.
Love Back to the Future.
Talk about a classic.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
Let's got that hanging by my desk.
That's so good.
I like how kind of scientifically accurate it was. Just a little bit accurate.
Just enough to
bypass,
keep people exactly.
To bypass the scientists.
Yeah.
The suspension of disbelief was still there.
That was for sure.
That's a good movie.
That's a great movie. Movies that I'm low key hoping people bring up so I can gush over as well. Hot Fuzz, love that movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
And Catch Me If You Can, love that movie.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Those are great classics.
Exactly. What about y'all? Let me flip the question to y'all.
Oh shoot!
All right.
Who's going first?
Now this is where you send me the intro to your favorite podcast, the music,
Yeah.
and then we just play it here, and then it transitions into your episode.
You guys get 2-for-1. The rest of the podcast is just audio.
Hey.
Everyone, turn off your webcams.
Turn your webcam.
Who's going first?
We talked about this a little bit, but Lala, you weren't on that episode, so you could go first. I know what you're thinking.
Oh right, our 10 out of 10 bangers, right?
10 out of 10 bang.
Our 10 out of 10 bangers.
Okay, so you're gonna be really upset with me, Aiden.
Why? Is it Joker?
No. I have a problem. I have a little bit of a problem. I struggle at watching things. So like my bank of movies that I've watched hasn't updated in years.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm trying my best to think of something right now.
All right. It's all good.
Somebody take it.
We'll come back.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back.
Please.
Michael, do you remember what yours was?
Hell yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
My rank 1 favorite movie, I can rewatch it all the time, is Superbad. That movie is so bad, but it's so good. That carried my childhood. Like, watching it today, I know will not be released in today's culture. And that's what's great about it, the raw jokes, I don't know. It was just too good for me. Like
it's super
raunchy.
Yeah,
it's
raunchy. That's the word. Yeah, super raunchy. Because like I watched that in 7th grade, and I thought my high school life was gonna be like that, partying, drinking. It was kind of like my manual to high school. But no, that never happened.
That's a great movie. Really, really funny.
For sure. Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Seth Rogen. Oh my god, classics.
What a cast.
What a cast. Joe Lo Truglo as the creepy guy. I love him.
I forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah.
It's so
Mr. $7.
Mr. $7.
If you ever want to just watch that movie, you could just ask Michael. He'll recite it all to you like live.
Yeah. Like
for real.
Word for word, bar for bar.
It's so good.
We found that movie in like grade 7.
Which is way too young.
Way too young.
And it just shaped my who I am right now.
Shaped your humor, I bet.
Yes. Definitely sense of humor.
Yes. Very dark, very weird.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan?
I think on that episode I said, and Aiden, you did an episode on this one, the Spider-Verse movie, Into the Spider-Verse. I'm a big fan of animated movies, so like Disney, Ghibli, all that type of stuff, like whatever studio. But like Sony kind of killed that movie with this animation. And just the storytelling and also the voice acting was pretty top tier.
It was.
Yeah.
Loki and all-star cast.
Very much.
Got Nick Cage in there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
John Mulaney. They just threw them in. But yeah, it worked out super well. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's so good. Even the sound, like you were talking about that in the last episode, the soundtrack, perfect. That soundtrack alone is 10 out of 10. And yeah,
I felt like that movie was a little too short. I wish they lengthened it. In my honest opinion, I want more.
All right, Aiden, tell us why we're wrong.
Wait for a second one. True.
I'm just kidding.
I'm like, oh, no, that's good, Michael, because it's like you leave them wanting more, right? Instead of getting tired. It's perfect in that. And we're getting another one in like next year, I think. So
something like that.
Yeah. I hope it's good.
I hope so too.
Because usually the second movie is really bad.
Usually.
Except for the original Spider-Man trilogy, the second movie,
banger. Second one's the best one.
That's what I'm saying.
Doc Ock.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time, to be honest.
Whenever that happens, Aiden, let's say there's a prequel that's just significantly worse than the original. Do you just strike that from your memory? Do you find that it ruins your enjoyment of the first movie at all?
Well, give me an example. My mind's blanking right now. Like a sequel, prequel, or what do you mean?
A sequel or prequel? Let's say. Okay.
Thinking.
Do you guys? I don't like, because we talked about Back to the Future. Do you guys think Back to the Future 3 was that good?
Yes. Yes, 100 times. Yes.
Okay, in my opinion, no offense, I didn't think it was that great. I don't mean to
watch it again.
Well, you're wrong. There we go.
No,
okay,
that's fair.
Let me think of a better example. Damn, I can't think of an example.
No, that's fine. I think why I liked number 3. So for me, it's 1, 3, 2. 2, I know 2 people consider like the best sequel of all time or whatever, but for me 2 I put at the bottom. That's not to say I don't like it, but I like 3 because I love westerns. I was like,
Okay,
what's your budget? What's your rate? What's your budget? Right. But with sequels, I feel like like Terminator. There's like a million sequels to those movies.
Oh, true.
But the thing is, like, I always just go back and watch the first 2, mainly just 2. But you don't have to watch 3. You don't have to watch Salvation. You don't have to watch Genesis or whatever. You don't have to watch whatever a million sequels that come out. You can still enjoy the original ones. I guess another example is like Halloween or like the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Fast
true.
and Furious.
Fast and the Furious. I mean, for some people, it's like they can't go back and watch the originals because they're so far removed from what they are now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first movie, they're stealing DVD players, and now they're sending Ludacris and Tyrese to the moon, to space.
Crazy.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
It was once a racing movie, now it's a heist.
You know they were supposed to call, for the Fast and the Furious movies, a working title for that franchise was going to be Race Wars.
Race Wars?
Race Wars?
That's very not okay right now. and then the cover is just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Vin Diesel.
Can you imagine coming out this August, Race Wars 9?
Race Wars
9.
Race Wars Tokyo Drift.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Oh god.
Oh no!
That would not fly.
They dodged the bullet there.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, you're doing something right.
There we go.
Whoever was in that board meeting and was like, Race Wars.
Fired.
Got fired. You know that meme where they throw the CEO guy out the window?
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Yeah. All right. We're about 50 minutes in. I just want to get into one more thing because I did have this on the list and I've seen you talk about it on social media a bunch. It's kind of a little bit of a deeper topic, but I wanted to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't even know. I'm just going to go broad stroke. What is your experience with it and how do you go about dealing with imposter syndrome?
Oh, we're getting heavy, eh?
Yeah. Right after the Fast and Furious talks.
Right after the Fast and Furious.
Whoa.
So, for those who don't know, imposter syndrome is when you feel inadequate in your position or whatever you're doing. You don't feel like you deserve anything that you have, all the accolades you may have accrued.
Mm-hmm. And that you're like, and when someone is complimenting you or praising you for something, you feel like they're seeing someone that you're not.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Like you always feel that thing in the back of your head where they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out I don't belong here.
Yeah,
I've tricked them. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a terrible feeling, and sometimes it can just ruin your productivity for whatever you're doing. But I got a good kick in the ass with that with one of my professors. There was one time when I was talking about like, oh, I just got really lucky with where I am. I know it was a matter of luck that this person contacted me and I was able to start working here. And they were like, oh yeah, it's luck. Yeah, luck. Like you didn't work your ass off to stay there. You know, luck may have gotten you in the door, but your hard work kept you in the building.
Yeah.
And that kind of shifted my perspective on things, where it's like, yeah, like they're right. You know, luck can run out, but it's like the hard work that keeps you there.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
And like, you know, for me, I always struggled with humility. That might come off wrong, but like the idea of being humble was always, you have to shit talk yourself constantly, and the smallest compliment you give yourself means you're a narcissist. You can't even give yourself like, you look good today, Aidan, without going like, you fucking narcissist, selfie taking, blah 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 blah. But thankfully my perspective on that has changed over the years. Like, you want to take a picture of yourself? Good, take a picture. Take dozens. Take 100. Who cares? And post them all. And you know, whatever. I might be a snowflake, left-leaning, libtard, whatever, the soft generation. But it's just like, why not? Why can't you feel good about yourself? You know, being humble means acknowledging your strengths along with acknowledging your weaknesses.
Yes.
So
I agree.
True.
So like, yes, I am a good graphic designer. You know, I've worked for years perfecting my craft. Do I have a long way to go? Absolutely. Who wouldn't? You know, I'm not going to pretend that I'm 100% perfect in what I do. And sometimes I'll tell you this, imposter syndrome can make you hesitate on trying new things, because if you're not going to get it right the first time, what's the point of even trying? Like podcasting, right? Podcasting is such a craft you have to constantly tweak.
Yes.
For sure.
I think it was Ira Glass, the host of This American Life. His old adage is just make the damn thing. Just make it. Because like, what's the thing? It's like 10,000 hours to perfect something.
To be a master, yeah.
So you just gotta just keep putting it out. Of course, there's gonna be things you can fix, but you can't do it if you don't put it out there and you don't make that thing. And sometimes imposter syndrome can stop you from even putting stuff out there, because you're like, yeah, but if I put this piece of art out, or if I put this episode up, they're gonna finally see that I'm the fraud that I think that I am, which isn't the case.
Yeah.
And you know, something that also helped is putting myself in the shoes of someone who would be telling me what I'm telling myself, if that makes sense.
Because you can always give that advice, right? But it's always, it's really hard to accept that for yourself and everything.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Go.
Because I feel you a lot on that. I've felt that imposter syndrome a lot, and it really is hard to like tell myself these things. It's like, no, you have to like accept what you're doing and everything. You're dope. It's just like you said, it feels egotistical a little bit, and I don't want it to feel that way. But there's a difference between being egotistical and just appreciating and loving yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta acknowledge like your strength and everything, and like, just because you do doesn't mean you have a big ego or you're not being humble. But again, it's just a hard thing to listen to, like, or think about.
And that's the thing. It's tough because, and I'm not a psychological expert, but it's like there's a difference between, you know, trying to tell yourself to you know, acknowledge your strengths, but then also unlearning those negative habits.
Yes.
Unlearning is a completely different specimen. You know, like throughout high school, like, oh my god, I was constantly living in the whole, you know, my parents they didn't really explicitly say it, but you can tell it was the whole, like, you know, Asian parents, you got an 85, could be a 90. You got a 90, could be a 95. Good 95, could be 100. You got 100, well, could do some extra credit. Like, it always can be better.
More. Yeah.
There's always more, and it just leaves you feeling so worthless and empty. And, you know, I wish I could go back and tell my high school self with conviction, like, you can worry about your grades and everything, but it's not the be all end all. Like, for God's sakes, I was studying like all the STEM stuff, like, you know, biochem, algebra, all that stuff. And, funny, in high school, me seeing myself now working as a graphic designer, I think high school me would have been like, I think he's a failure because he's not doing a STEM thing.
Yeah.
Or he's not a nurse or a doctor or whatever. But I am so incredibly happy with what I'm doing right now. And that's not to say anybody working in the arts is dumb. No, there are so many, this is a whole discussion, but the school system we have in place right now,
I agree. Whatever
does
you're
not
say. Yep, I agree.
does not account for different intelligences.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
People might yeah, exactly. People who know me might see oh, I got good grades in high school, I must be smart. And this might sound like imposter syndrome, but I will disagree to that slightly because I learned how to play the game. You want grades, you have to take in all the answers and then just regurgitate it when the test day comes. But little did I know, I had a calling in the back of my head that wanted to do more arts, that wanted to do more creative stuff. But there is no real big outlet for it, at least at our school, because we weren't an art school,
Yeah.
But I feel like with standardized testing and everything, it's really tough to evaluate the different intelligences. There's nothing for emotional intelligence. Some people are so adept at, gauging how other people feel, human connections. But we don't have there's no textbooks for that. It's really tough to evaluate that when you're really just doing 6 hours of schoolwork and then exams every semester or whatever.
Yep.
And
I said before, it's just the school system is just made for students to become employees,
Yeah.
not to become humans.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks.
It sucks so much because what do you do with the group of kids that may not be able to, that aren't as math savvy? And I know a lot of people are, but what do you do with that group who aren't math savvy but can also paint a beautiful tapestry or a beautiful mural or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that stereotype where it's I dropped out, went to art school, blah blah blah, they're a failure or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand where that's coming from because I'm very fortunate with my situation. I'm being able to get paid for what I do. But I understand for others, it's not the case. You do have to take the job that pays, right?
For sure.
But oh man, I just wish there was a better way to acknowledge the strengths of the different intelligences that kids have. Because it's a spectrum, right? It's not just STEM and art. There's so many different niches there, and I don't think the school system, at least in Canada, in Toronto, is doing a great job at really acknowledging and highlighting those strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, a lot of that stuff just gets lost once this system's built. It just gets lost within it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to. I mean, we all see because we're within the system, so we get to see each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
But from the outside, the system looking down, they just see our student numbers for
real.
Student numbers connected to our grades.
Yeah, it's hard to improve on a flawed foundation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agree.
Sorry, that was my little rant. Sorry.
You're good,
true.
man.
That's you.
I told
spit
you
all
we talk
facts.
about everything and anything on here.
All
Thank you
facts,
for
yo.
that.
That was good. I needed to hear that.
Thank you.
I think we all needed to hear
Yeah.
that.
A lot of people needed to hear that, and that's why we're here. We talk about whatever. We talk about what people need to hear, what people want to hear, And our goal for this podcast, I think we say this over and over again, is just to bring that high morale, make you laugh, make you smile, but also we also say hope you learn something when you listen.
I learned something today. Maybe more about myself.
And not every moment needs to end on a high morale note, but
Actually,
that's fine.
Real quick, can I say one of my favorite movies?
Oh,
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, go.
Okay, Aiden, have you seen K-On! Before?
It's an anime.
Oh, I don't think I don't think I have.
The K-On! Movie? Just for the audience? 10 out of 10. Banger!
Let's go. Anime movies. Pretty good.
Movies.
Okay, but for real, there's this one there's this one movie that I really like that I remember from the past few years. I saw Perfect Blue, and it's
also an anime movie.
It's an anime movie by Satoshi Kon, and I'm a big fan of like K-pop and like idols and stuff. And seeing that movie kind of, I saw the movie before I got into that stuff, but like just remembering these scenes put like into perspective the idol spectrum and like how dangerous it could be. And just I don't know, that movie, the artwork, the story, and like how you can never tell what's like real and what's not real. I don't know. I just think it's a really, really good movie. If you want to pick your brain a little bit into some anime, I would recommend that to anybody.
Perfect Blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, like, just to continue off of that, there's a lot of movies where they just dive deep into these like very wide subject matters or very relatable subject matters, but people don't watch them because there's a subtitle bar, or it's animated, or it looks like it's for kids, or the stylization is different. You know what I mean?
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that.
Oh really?
Oh, no.
It's weird.
I watched that episode.
Okay, let me explain myself. Okay, I had a come to Jesus moment when I was watching Whisper of the Heart. And for the longest time in my life, I had this weird aversion to anime. Like, I don't know why.
Oh,
I guess it was
too.
just like, you know, whenever Inuyasha came on, that was my time to go to bed. It was like 10 o'clock or blah, blah, blah. Or maybe it was just something I never got on, you know? But, you know, even like Last Airbender, I never got onto. And I know for my friends, that's a cardinal sin. Because like, how could you not watch Last Airbender? But when I was watching Whisper of the Heart, there's like a lot of these shots where it's just like these beautiful landscapes of Tokyo, and it clicked. I'm like, hold on, this is beautiful, and this is the art style that I try to imitate in my job. Why do I not like these movies? And so it was a literal like born again moment where I'm just like, I had to dig deep into why I avoided these movies for so long, and I'm just like, I should probably give these a better chance. And you know, for me, the language is never a thing. I love watching like non-English movies, but for some reason, anime was always something that I avoided. But not anymore. You can thank Studio Ghibli for that.
it's never too late to start.
Never too late to start.
It's never too late to start.
So I got K-On! And I got Perfect Blue. Those are the two Lala that you gave me.
Okay, maybe not K-On! Don't start with K-On! Definitely Perfect Blue. Akira. Check out Akira. No, it's like super bad. It's like, it's personal to me. Like, I love K-On! Because of what K-On! is to me. But like in terms of like a pure movie enjoyment, I feel like Perfect Blue would be a good one. Akira. Yeah. I'd say those two.
And don't just look within Studio Ghibli. There's a lot of like other studios that do like a really good job with their animation and the storytelling. So if you ever want to broaden your horizon like that,
I'm looking for a quick anime to get into. I heard One Piece is really quick and really simple.
Oh, it's so quick.
You could get that over
like a day,
a night or something. Yeah, something like that.
Easy. Body that, yo.
It's all good. It's all good. Anyways, anyone else have anything else?
No, I think
we're all good.
Do you think we hit today's OBJ?
I do think we hit today's OBJ and some. As per usual. But I would just like to thank you again, Aiden, for joining us on this wonderful Thursday.
Oh,
thanks, Aiden.
Thank you, Aiden.
Nice.
Make sure you guys check out your favorite movie on Spotify. We'll have his Instagram and all that social media stuff down below. Make sure to bombard him with compliments. But yeah, that's all we got for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed, hope you laughed, hope you smiled, and I hope you learned a little something. And
as always,
Lala, thanks for coming too, I guess.
I got
Thank
you. Even though you didn't thank me for May morale.
That's
No,
another story.
I'm just
That's
kidding.
story.
I'm just kidding.
That's
All
another
right.
story for another time. All
Thanks,
right.
Aidan, for coming. We really
Thanks for having
appreciate it. The viewers really appreciate it too. We got your 2 cents on a lot of things, and
Yeah.
especially that last bit. Yeah, that really opened my mind. You know, that's why I stayed silent that whole time, because I was thinking the whole time.
For real.
Yeah.
And that's why Joker is my favorite movie. Thanks, everybody.
Let's go.
All
And
right.
that's my TED Talk. All right.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Aidan, we walk
Bye.
off set. We
Bye.
walk off set.
All right.
We walk upset.
Yeah, we walk off
Yeah,
set
we walk off
later.
set.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.